Welcome back. I'm coming to you with another NFL 2013 preview. The team I'm about to do. Nobody requested this, and I will get to your request. I'm just looking over some of the teams, some of the transactions, making sure I got some of the things right. Cause I know I missed stuff in my other videos, and I probably still will miss some things. So it happens. We all make mistakes. The team I want to do is the Seattle Seahawks. Team that's pretty much I would say going overlooked in terms of, well, yeah, they went 11-5 last year. I mean, they really at the end of the year really started to play well. Um, they they were very that still got the best home field advantage. Had the best secondary, one of the best defenses. A young and blossoming quarterback in Russell Wilson. A still dominant running back in Marshawn Lynch, and a pretty solid offensive line. So I wanted to talk about because they did make some roster changes. So I want to talk about some of the changes and how I think it will affect them next year. Of course, some of the bigger changes was getting Percy Harvin from Minnesota, getting Cliff Averill from the Lions, Antoine Winfield, of course, from Minnesota as well, and to, those are mainly the biggest. Those are mainly the biggest signings in terms of free agency. Um, we have to see how the rookie will play. Spencer Ware was a rookie they got, so we'll have to see. Rookies are always we'll see how they play. It's a wait and see game, but I want to really talk about the guys I noticed there. Um, like I said, Percy Harvin. They still got guys like Sidney Rice, who I mean, hey, he's not that good. Doug Baldwin's pretty good, but he got hurt. Um, a guy like Golden Tate, he's not that good. But having Percy Harvin is a huge upgrade, especially for a guy like Russell Wilson, who played quite well for what he had to work with and in the receiving core. Yes, he did have Zach Miller, who had a good game later down the stretch, and he also played well against the Redskins in the divisional game, and I mean the wild card game. Um, so I'm just gonna name off some of the players. We all know some of these players. Um, of course, Cliff Averill, Clemens, who got injured in the Redskins game, he's coming back. Um, Without him, if you noticed, against the Falcons, they could get no pressure on Matt Ryan. So having him back and also adding Cliff Averill, that was a big reason why they added Cliff Averill, was to get get more depth um, at the end position. Bruce Irvin is going to be moving to outside linebacker. You still have Bobby Wagner, who's a good young linebacker. Um, the secondary is the strength of this team. We all know that. Richard Sherman was, I will say, the best cornerback. A lot of people don't like him, but the guy produced on the field. It's fact. The guy went out there and produced on the field. He was the best corner last year, and if not the best, he was one of the best. Cam Chancellor, hard hitting safety. Earl Thomas, ball hawking safety, and a guy who doesn't really get talked about at cornerback is Brandon Browner, big guy, 6'4", 220, around like 220. He's gonna beat up receivers. Not the greatest in terms of technique, but he's gonna beat up guys. He normally doesn't get talked about because of Richard Sherman on the other side, who usually gets all the publicity. But he's still a really good cornerback. The like I said, the main problem with the team was the pass rush. They really couldn't get no pressure, and it was evident when Chris Clemens went down and they played against Atlanta and Matt Ryan. they couldn't get to Matt Ryan, and that pretty much was a big reason why they lost the game, because the Matt Ryan was getting no pressure on him, and he was making all the throws. I mean, you got to get pressure on a guy like that. So, like I said, Cliff Averill was a guy who's gonna help him with that. Antoine Winfield's gonna give him more depth at cornerback. You know, a lot of teams like to go 3-4 wide, so that's definitely gonna help him. That's definitely gonna help him in those situations. He can go in there and play slot. So I mean, the defense is still gonna be honestly, a top 3 defense, if not the best. They're gonna be a top 3 defense. Pete Carroll, for all the flack he gets for everything he does, still he still has built a great defense. You know, a lot of help from his coaching staff, but he still, he got a lot of guys. Richard Sherman was drafted late. Browner was drafted late. Cam Chancellor was drafted late. Earl Thomas was the only guy really drafted early. The rest of those guys were guys that teams didn't see much out of, and these guys came to the Seattle and blossomed. I wanted to go ahead and go over the offense. Like I said, I went over Sidney Rice. He's okay. Percy Harvin's their best receiver. He's a guy you can split him out wide. You can put him in the slot. Minnesota put him in the backfield. He can actually hand the ball to him. So the guy's versatile. You can put him in the return game. The guy's very versatile, and he's definitely going to help this team out. Speedy guy, and definitely a weapon that Russell Wilson needed. Doug Baldwin, like I said, he's underrated, but he got injured, so we'll have to see. He honestly, in my opinion, on the depth chart right now, they have Sidney Rice over him. I think he should start over Sidney Rice. Offensive line, Russell Okung. Good young talent. He's went through a couple injuries. For the most part, the offensive line is pretty good. Russell Wilson, the main reason he had to do a lot of running was because the wide receivers couldn't get open. So that's definitely not on the onus of either Russell Wilson or the offensive line. Of course, Russell Wilson, as I was just talking about, one of the best rookies last year. Should have definitely been in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. We all know RG3 got it, but the guy really started to show up near the end of the year. Made big plays in the Redskins game. Almost brought him back against the Falcons. Of course they still lost that game. The guy plays hard. He's smart. Always studying the game. So I expect a lot out of him, especially with getting Percy Harvin. That's gonna be a big go-to weapon for him. Zach Miller is still a guy that's that's gonna constantly get open for him. A guy he can count on. And then, something that's been good for the Seahawks offense for quite some time. For the last 3 or 4 years, if not more. That's Marshawn Lynch. He's not getting any younger. He's 27, but that for a running back that takes a lot of beating. He's still, like I said, he's 27. That's not too old. He's still got a lot left, but he can't be the guy that just he can take a beating, but they want to give another guy some reps, to keep Marshawn Lynch fresh. Robert Turbin's pretty good, so I could see him splitting. Well, not necessarily splitting, but I could see Marshawn Lynch's carries go down slightly. Robert Turbin getting some more carries, to give Marshawn Lynch that rest. So like I always do, I'm gonna go over the Seahawks schedule. They play in a pretty solid. They play definitely in a tough division, but mainly because of the Niners, the Cardinals, and the Rams. The Rams are slightly better, but they just don't have the talent. The Cardinals are terrible. Of course, game one they got my Panthers. I think I mentioned this in my Panthers preview. Game two they have the 49ers. It's gonna be a great game. Low scoring more than likely. Three they have the Jaguars, a struggling team. Don't really expect much out of the Jaguars. Texans another good game in my opinion. An improved Texans defense. Colts, an improved team overall. They've got a lot of pieces, and Andrew Luck is in his second year, so I expect this to be a decent game. I actually expect this to be a pretty good game. Barring any prior injury to this game, I expect it to be a good game. The Titans, not really a good team. The Cardinals, you never know what to expect out of division rival, but as currently stands, the Cardinals are not a good team offensively. They struggle with the offensive line. The tackles were terrible. Don't know. I mean, the last game the Seahawks played them, they beat them pretty bad. I believe it was about 6-7 turnovers. It was really bad. The Rams always play the Seahawks tough. They always play the Niners tough. So I expect a really tough game, especially with Jeff Fisher there. He's brought something new to the team. So I expect a good game out of that. The Bucks is still a wait and see. By that time, we'll better get we'll better see what the Buccaneers are capable of. The Falcons game is going to be a good game. That's a rematch. That's the rematch of that's a rematch of the divisional game. So I expect another good game. I expect some fussing and chippiness in the game. The Vikings, not a good team other than Adrian Peterson, have trouble at quarterback. Offensive line, not that good. Defense, other than Jared Allen, really is poor. Week 12 they have a bye. Week 13 they have the Saints. Like I said, the Saints, great offense, poor defense. I can really see the Seahawks. And this is all speculation. This is week 13. I can see the Seahawks, giving the Saints some trouble because the Saints have they have trouble stopping the run, and that's something the Seahawks do quite well with Marshawn Lynch, Turbin. Even Russell Wilson will have some option plays for him where he runs out of backfield. Of course, week 14, 49ers. Of course, that's going to be a good game. Week 15, the Giants. That's going to be a good game. The Giants are always competing as long as they got Eli Manning back there. The defense for the Giants, hasn't really made too many improvements. They lost Human and they lost Chris Canty, so that's gonna really hurt their pass rush. But they still have Justin Tuck and Pierre Paul, so they're still gonna do quite well. We'll have to see in that the Seahawks Giants game. The Cardinals, division rival, but like I said, as the team currently stands, they're not too good offensively. Now the defense is quite solid. The defense is really good. Calais Campbell, Darnell Dockett. Yeah. Okay. They end the season with two divisional games. We'll have to see by this time. Will they need these games, or will these be games that they sit out, rest up for the playoffs? So we'll see how the season goes. I'll possibly look at preseason to see how some of these teams do. I'm like I said, I'm looking through looking at some of the teams. If I haven't got to your review yet, don't worry, I will be getting to it. I'll probably have the Redskins next, maybe. I think I'll do the Redskins next. So, like I said in the previous videos, if you have any other teams that you want me to do, let me know down in the comments. Let me know what you think about. Let me know what you think about the Seahawks. What do you think that will they make it further in the playoffs this year? How will the defense play? How will Russell Wilson play? What about Percy Harvin? Is he a good addition? Like I said, let me know what you think in the comments about anything I've said. If I've missed anything, let me know still. Um, like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.